the box has collision, but the lasers don't. Aside from the beam, and it's only by detection. I thought we had damage on it, but you know what it is? You might have an older version of the laser. So that's where we're at. Again, for posterity's sake, we moved in the hub world one. Right now, if I use this, here is working. He's just exploring what we have so far, or at least what he has. And then after that, since it's easier to test on this version of the game, we're then going to export his design, again for posterity's sake, into the actual multiplayer game later on.
How is someone even going to scale this mountain? That's ridiculous.
An airplane or UFO.
It'd be really cool if there was like different things, like you'd only fly the plane after a certain part. That's how you get up there. That'd be cool.
Wait, what do you mean, like a time limit on the airplane?
No, like you can only fly it after you're doing a certain thing, so that kind of acts like a lock.
Oh yeah, we could do that. We already have the keys, right? We already have keys programmed, so they could just like have to hit certain keys and then the airplane drops. Like they see the airplane from the sky. I mean, right?
Like in another level, like if we are really going to have this multi-level system, is there going to be any particular order to the levels?
Well, right now we're not having a multi-level system because it's easier to program a persistent world with all the levels in it.
I meant like we're gonna have different levels, right? Not different.
Yeah. We're gonna have, but I want you to think about the different levels as
to them though. Like any
they're literally different levels on the map, like a building. Now you gotta think of it. We're building a building. We're not building separate levels. We're building all these levels that are interconnected into one hub world. That's the goal now.
Okay, but is there going to be any particular order? Like
right now, no. The order is just get stuff done so that we can make a demo video.
I mean, like when you play the game, is it gonna be like, say, Legend of Zelda dungeons?
Probably not Legend of Zelda in general, but
I mean, like Legend of Zelda has dungeons in order. You don't just do whatever dungeon you feel like at once.
That first off, that sounds terrible to me. So I hope not. I think you should go to the most dangerous dungeon, and if you somehow survive it, you level up to level 99 in general. That's my thoughts. I think an open world should never be closed. I mean, and if there's story constructs, then I could get it. Like there's a war and you can't go to a certain border because you have to, little things like that. I'll say, okay, if there's story elements, fine. But you know,
I like story. That's something I really favor in games. Story.
I like story, but I don't think you should. I don't think that dungeons in general should be locked up. I think, because there's exploration. If a player can go, like that's what I liked about Skyrim. You could go to the very end of the Skyrim map, and if you didn't do a dungeon, you just have to run away from really dangerous enemies. You know what I'm saying? But you could literally discover all the land areas. And if you're lucky, you never get killed. You get what I'm saying? Because you're level 1. Like I'm level 1 or level 5 or whatever, right? I'm just really weak. And you see a level 99 beast, you just run. And the game supports that. And I'm for, you know what I mean? I'm for that, right? So if you can go to every dungeon and you find a dungeon that you just die. Well, it's a Skyrim.
I actually haven't played Skyrim in a while.
Yeah, you should.
I hit by a vampire. Haven't played the game in like a year.
You should do a new game file and do what I call the chicken run. And the goal of it is to not fight at all, but just run and try to survive and get through the entire map because it supports that. As long as you're not caught in battle, you can technically get most of the map. I've done that. Ironically, I've leveled up. I got through half of the map by doing the discover locations, but every time there was a fight or something, I ran. And I was a healer, so I healed myself after running.
Gosh.
And I was leveling up from using the heal and discovering the locations. I didn't level up a lot, but you get it, right? Yeah. Is that funny? Fun. Is that really funny? And then finally, when I had all the locations discovered, I finally could then, start playing the game if I wanted to. I only got half.
First enemy.
I can finally fight my first enemy. So then how does this relate to story, right? You're going, okay, how does that relate to? Well, in Skyrim, there are story key points still. If you have to do certain things for certain dialogue conversations to open up with certain areas and people. And even though it's very superficial, I feel the story to Skyrim is kind of superficial. It supports that. So that you could start part of another quest before you do the other quests under it. However, you might break it if you do something a little too far ahead. It could break the game and the story. It supports that though. I give him props for it. So what you could do, you could actually technically, nothing's closed. You can run around the map, and as long as you're not killed by something much scarier and bigger than you, then you're fine. The dungeons, there's no way you can survive the linear dungeons in Skyrim without being leveled up. I know that for a fact. Like, no, it's a level 30 dungeon. Maybe I can do. No, I died because you can't. You
can't run when there's enemies on both sides.
On both sides. No, the best part is if you don't kill the other enemies, they hunt you through the map. The game supports that. So like a lot of the enemies, if they can follow you, they will chase you to the end.
Like day 500. I've been running from this one enemy for 500 days. Help.
Well, no. Okay. So for the open world, they'll eventually, you get far enough away, the game just deletes them, right? It's kind of like Minecraft in that regard. But for the dungeon, no, it will not, because the dungeons are separate instances. Every enemy you trigger can hunt you down to the end of the map, unless there's some geometry or something that blocks them.
The map? Do you mean the end of the dungeon or the end of like the entire world map?
The dungeon. The dungeons are separate instances. They're separate maps. So if you piss off a giant spider, unless there's something that stops the spider physically, like a door or something it can't jump, that spider could technically hunt you through the entire map.
Behold,
it's lazy. I think it's lazy.
Alive, like the boss.
Yeah, it's lazy design, but I like it though, right? Every enemy that you run from,
I'm gonna kill you, and then just the random spider's like, I've been chasing you throughout this entire dungeon since the very moment you entered.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't outrun enemies in dungeons because you're right. They're technically sandwich you and they build up. So that's the only problem with the but the world you can go everywhere in the world.
Dungeon being like, oh, who's your friends back there? And it's just like a horde of all the monsters you dodged throughout the dungeon.
Yeah. No, if you can survive it. So that's the thing, because you have to have your heal spells and potions, and I mean that's pretty bad. So I like to call it the chicken run. How long can you survive? How far? Because remember, if you die, it's only going to go to your last save point, and that game's got a great save point. You can save any time, pretty much, right? But the thing is about the chicken run is that, but if you can't get caught. So in a dungeon, this is why you need multi saves. If you get in a dungeon and it auto saves, or you save in that dungeon at a point where there's like, I don't know, like 10 enemies around you targeting you, you're going to constantly go back to a save point where you're going to keep dying. So that is one of the reasons I quit. Because I couldn't get out of a situation, even though I explored like half the map. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't, because I had no way. And I guess there's one thing I could have done. I didn't know it at the time. I could have cheated, used the console command, and turned on God mode. But I'd have to do it fast enough before everything loads and kills me. Because I was surrounded by things that were shooting me and killing me. But I have like a chance to pause the game and potentially put God mode. I don't have the save file anymore though. That's the only way. That's the only way I'll survive and continue my chicken run. But yeah, man, I got half the map. I went to the magic school, found that by just running.
Oh, I know that place. That's actually where I turned into a vampire and cut off the game for like 2 years.
Oh, you didn't want to become a vampire?
No, I was like young compared to like me now. I was like front of the day, like, oh no, I got infected, and I just shut off the game.
There's a cure for vampirism.
Yes, I know. It's just I'm not good at finding them. I wanted to make sure I had maximum time to research, and then I just never.
If you don't mind breaking the game, I can show you how to like console command everything. It's like
I just want to be able to not be a vampire and learn some magic.
Well, yeah. Well, here I'll learn. At some point I'll show you the console command code for curing yourself. You can. It's a programmed effect, right? You could just go in your player stats with the console command, and then heal yourself by turning off vampirism. It's funny. It's really funny when you get into console commands. You can also turn yourself as a vampire. You can turn everybody a vampire who's near you. You can turn everyone into a werewolf. You can't turn everyone into a vampire and a werewolf, though. I was really depressed about that.
Can you turn yourself
The
into
game
a
doesn't support it. Yeah, it doesn't support that. I thought, okay, will it load both meshes? Both character models? No, it won't. Wouldn't that be fun though? Having a vampire werewolf?